This is the worst spring I've ever seen. The only good thing about a terrible spring is it means you don't have to mow your lawn, and I hate mowing my lawn. The idea of getting out there and pushing a lawnmower or sitting on a ride-on lawnmower for your entire weekend, it just drives me insane. What I'd rather be doing instead of mowing my lawn is sitting outside with my friends having a drink while the lawnmower does it by itself. This is my front lawn here, and you can see it's a pretty big front lawn. I also have a back lawn as well, but I'm sitting on about 3/4 of an acre of property right here. Since I have a front and a backyard, I'm always mowing. What I'm reviewing today, and this is a mouthful, is the MOVA LiDAX Ultra 3000 AWD. That AWD stands for all-wheel drive, and I'm going to get back to that in a minute. Now, this is a sponsored video, but I only accept sponsorships from products that I like, products that I've tested and found work, and products that I would buy with my own money, and I would absolutely buy this with my own money. I'm going to tell you all the features of the MOVA lawnmower, but first I want to tell you what LiDAR is and why it's so important. So, there have been 3 different types of lawnmowers over the years. The first one was a wire-based system. It's sort of like that invisible fence that you use for a dog. You put a wire around your entire perimeter and the lawnmower stays inside that wire. That is incredibly awful to do. The second generation of lawnmowers used GPS only in order to figure out where they were on your yard. The problem is that things like trees and houses and stuff like that will block the GPS signal, and if the lawnmower doesn't have GPS, it does not know where it is. But what our TK does is a bigger GPS receiver and a transmitter, and so it takes a look at the sky, it gets GPS, it's got more antennas inside of it, so it's easier for it to get GPS. It can figure out exactly where the mower is and give it a lot more accuracy. The problem with RTK is that you have to mount this somewhere else in your yard. That's just one more thing to deal with. What the MOVA robot lawnmower uses is LiDAR, and LiDAR is laser radar, and it's not the kind of laser like a laser pointer where if you shine it in somebody's eyes they go blind. The greatest thing about LiDAR is that because it's constantly making a 3D picture of your yard and remembering that picture, it can figure out where it is based down to a couple of inches. If it can see the tree, it always knows where it is. And if it sees these bushes over here, it always knows where it is because of the bushes. And so once you start running it, it figures out where it is, where it needs to go, and where it is at any time without needing to see GPS. Another great thing about the LiDAR system combined with the built-in cameras on the front of the system is that it has AI detection for up to 300 different subjects. And so if you put something like a stuffed animal or a bunny hops in front of the lawnmower, it's not going to go over that. I said I was going to mention the AWD in this, the all-wheel drive. A lot of robot lawnmowers have drive wheels in the back and they have casters in the front. Like caster is the kind of thing you would put underneath a chair that you roll around your office. And the problem with that is when they get in tough situations, they only have rear-wheel drive, and just like a rear-wheel drive car can get stuck in the mud or stuck in dirt. And it has both these powerful back wheels and these really cool looking flexible wheels on the front, so it can clear objects as high as about 2.5 inches. So I happen to have these planters that separate my driveway from the backyard, and so I just ran it up those planters, which is at a very steep angle. It's not the kind of angle that you usually have grass on, but it handled it like a champ. It went up and over, and I just did it a couple of times just for the fun of driving it around the trees. This lawnmower has got 4 different hubs to power the 4 different wheels. It does 116 watts, which means that it has a lot of power to move it around your yard. It can clear obstacles about 2.5 inches, which means if you have something like Belgian block between your driveway and your yard, it can just go right up and over that. I really like that it mows in a U-shaped pattern, unlike a lot of the robot lawnmowers that sort of like bounce around the way that a robot vacuum cleaner would do, which means you get that nice yard with a nice manicured looking look. Because the mowing area is about 16 inches wide and has dual discs with 12 blades on it, it gets a lot of grass on each path, so it spends a lot less time having to go back and over the same section. The mower also has a system that they call Ultra Trim 2.0, and that allows one of the discs to move over closer to edges, so it cuts things like curbs and Belgian block within about 3 centimeters or about 1.5 inches. It's got a huge battery, but when the battery is about to die, it takes itself right back over to the charging base, charges itself, and then it starts off exactly where it was, so you don't get uneven patterns with it starting in a different zone, which is something, again, that a lot of the other robot lawnmowers do. And because it uses LiDAR, the mower can even mow at night, which is pretty cool. It also has rain sensors, so it can skip mowing if it's raining, because that's a time when a mower going back and forth across the ground can damage your lawn. And the MOVA app, it's really good. You can set up 2 different maps. You can set up 150 zones as well, and you can have it mow different heights to those different zones, which means, let's say that I have a front yard and a side yard. The front yard, I want it to look more manicured, so I set it to a lower height. The the side yard where I've got my barbecue grill and people hang out, I can let it grow a little bit longer because it really doesn't matter what that looks like. It's over there behind the bushes. It's a couple of months since the last part of the video. The lawn is finally growing nicely. One of the things that I did not do when I first mapped out the lawn is I did not do this section here. It was easier for me to set up the map ending right over here at this planter bed and not have to have it mow this whole section it didn't need. But now I wanted to mow this entire section. So I wanted to mow all around the yard. I wanted to go all the way over here. I wanted to go all the way over here to the edge of the street. I wanted to go up, and then it's going to come back around on the other side. So let me add this to the map, and then I'm going to come and I'm going to show you how I'm going to make the no-go zones around the existing beds. Now that I'm mapping out this entire side of the property, what I need to do is create a no-go zone over here, because if I include all this in the map and I don't tell it not to mow over these beds, the mower is going to go straight through these beds. And now I'm going to do this as a no-go zone, and that is just as easy as doing the map. I come to the app, I tell it I want to do a no-go zone, and then I drive it like a remote-controlled car again. On that side of the lawn is my original zone. Over here is the new zone that I just added. This is the other half of my yard, and I need the lawnmower to be able to go from that part to this part over here. And I have this nice path for the lawnmower to go through, and all you have to do to combine the zones is just make a path from one of them to another. Once you have the path set up, you can have it mow just zone 1 or just zone 2, or with the path you can have it mow the whole thing because it knows it's one gigantic map that's just separated by this walkway. All you have to do to set a path is go to the app and hit set passage. It gives you a little tutorial on how you do it. And then you just drive it from one side to the other. Most of the lawnmowers have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi built in. I particularly like that this one also has 4G connectivity, which means that if you have a huge piece of property with no Wi-Fi nearby, you can still use the mower. It can often be farther away than Wi-Fi is, and a lot of the systems, you simply can't do anything when it's out of range. So let's talk about the price and some of the other MOVA mowers that might be better for you. Currently, the LiDAX Ultra 3000 is about $2,500. It's usually about $3,000. If you have a smaller one, there are two other models with the same features. There's the LiDAX Ultra 2000 and the LiDAX Ultra 1000. The LiDAX Ultra 1000 covers about 1/4 of an acre of property. It handles a 45% slope, but that has a single disc unlike the dual disc in here, which is fine for smaller yards. There's also the LiDAX Ultra 2000, which is good for properties about 1/2 of an acre. That one has a bigger battery than the LiDAX Ultra 1000. It's a 5 amp hour as opposed to a 3.5 amp hour battery, which means it can go longer between charges. It's simply designed to handle slightly smaller yards. And even with this one being designed to handle about 3/4 of an acre, if you have a bigger piece of property, you can still use this. It's just going to have to go back and recharge itself more often. The folks at MOVA have given me a code to share with you, and that will be in the description below, and links to all 3 of the models are in the description as well. So why are you watching this video? Are you using a robot lawnmower and you want to upgrade to something bigger? Are you not using one yet and you're trying to figure out what the best product for you is? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you have any questions about robot lawnmowers, these models from MOVA, or any other of the models that I've tested, leave me a comment below. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. If you have a larger lawn with uneven terrain, this is the lawnmower for you. This is by far the best lawnmower I've ever looked at for uneven terrain and for steep slopes. Even a lot of the models that say that they can handle steep slopes just get stuck on things like my flower bed or that tree in the backyard. This just rides straight up and over them like a tank. It's just a tank that can also mow your yard. For Dave Tries This, I'm David Schloss, and as always, thanks so much for giving this a try. It's like it's farting grass.
Farting grass.
You're welcome, Ben.
Right. How did you fart grass?
I didn't do it, the robot did it. What do you think?
Yeah.